this beautiful historic house in Dallas, Texas, with its English styling and its slate tile roof. This house is a part of the Swiss Avenue Historic District. SMR were called in to have a look at the basement wall of the property as it was bowing inward approximately 3 inches. The engineer had concerns about the masonry veneer potentially collapsing because of the movement within the basement wall. The masonry had moved and visible cracks were seen around the window openings. The engineer suggested that shoring be applied to support the masonry. Then I was able to assess the situation with a close-up inspection. Here is a view of the inside of the bowing basement wall. It was leaning inward approximately 3 inches. The customer asked if we could just push it back. I replied yes, but it would take a bit of doing.
Alan Pettingill from Specialised Masonry Restoration. Initially called in on the site to have a look at this wall that had deflected on the inside due to compression of soil from the outside. Initially, the inside tanking was taken off to locate the cracks and the stress fractures on the inside. Having done that, we then used a piece of equipment called a CM42 rebar locator. In locating the rebars, it gives us a description of how solid the wall is itself. On locating the rebars, we found that the location of the rebars were approximately a foot on centre running horizontally and approximately 3.5 feet running vertically up on the side. Where the deflection was worse, we noticed that there was no rebar up in these area locations, but at the top of the actual wall itself a rebar is situated, so that'll give it some strength. The deflection is approximately 2.5 inches. To rectify this problem, shoring has been set up an actual 4x4s using a jack system to push this wall back into place. We do anticipate some cracks, but that will be done by crack injection to rectify it and strengthen it up. After that, an assessment can be made if the masonry rolls back into position as a remedial strategy and repair strategy to put the masonry back into place. So on that note, we're going to actually try and push this wall out and we'll see what we accomplish in the end.
Okay, are you ready, my friend?
I'm ready. Let's take up some tension and see how much of a deflection we can push back out on this wall.
Okay, we're going to give you 3 pumps here. Just we'll watch the mortar, see if anything loosens up. Okay, amigos.
Ready.
We're going to go simultaneously. Ready? Uno.
Let's do it.
Dos. Tres. Okay, hold on, un momento. You got a pressure?
Just get it tight in there.
I'll take the bottom section of this wall out, and in doing so, we can now put a spirit level against there, look out and look straight, and approximately there is where the wall is straight. So even though the wall above it is slightly out, so what we're looking at on here, I would say would be about ½ inch to
more?
take up onto that section.
Okay.
And this is with the corner returning back into there. We do have a stress fracture running vertically down there, and then we've got a step line fracture that's opened up coming down here that we can key back in together. Moving down a little bit further, we'll come to this section here. Now this section here, where we're coming to, as you can see visually down the side of the wall, is straightening itself out pretty well. We are opening up here approximately maybe 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch back onto there. But the only thing that I'm looking at with reference to pushing this wall out would be, as you can see, we have a nice dip here, concave here. If we can apply pressure on this section, because we do have a bit of a step line movement in the masonry here, coming up towards the window opening, We'll see how much pressure we can apply on that. But from first impression, the wall is certainly moving out and rotating out. So everything seems to be going really well at the moment.
So you say at this point, maybe a ½ inch down here on the end,
½ inch there,
3/4 center
inch here, maybe an inch in the centre because it's where it's bringing it in. But this area here, which is still sitting on the grade beam and the window opening, just needs to come out a bit more. We do have a stress line fracture running down here through the concrete, but if anything, when jet washed, it'll give you a good application to install parts from both sides and bring it back up to the top, keying it back together.
After the basement wall was manoeuvred back into vertical position, a steel column was inserted to keep the wall vertical. With the basement stabilised, the second phase was to have the foundation levelled at the front of the house, and then repairs to the masonry veneer was started. On the rear of the house, masonry repair was needed to the chimney and to the arch. Chimneys are the one area of masonry that gets weathered the most and need pointing when the mortar is eroded, like in this picture. SMR rebuilt the top section of the chimney, ground out the mortar joints and repointed with colour-matched mortar. The arch was dropping and needed mortar bed reinforcement to strengthen the bed joints above the arch. Repairs to the mortar must match the existing mortar. Matching the existing mortar takes years to perfect.
Alright, here we are at the top of the scaffolding, and one of the things that we said about the actual masonry is that what we want to do is we've been able to extract the bricks using the Arbitec being the best tool of the trade that you can use because of its cutting power, from Australia, well thought out, great piece of kit, especially for the work that we do. In doing so, what we've done is we've extracted one of the solder courses here and here. Then what we're going to do is the same as on the lower elevation, is that we're going to drill through and put a roll bolt back into the actual header itself, in the wooden header, to secure the lintel in place. Having done this at the top section and the middle section, we're able to secure that. So the next section, what we're going to do now is we're going to actually secure the masonry back in place using remedial wall ties, and the wall ties themselves, as we expressed before, a 7.5 inch helical Drafix wall tie where a small pilot hole is drilled and a small pilot hole through into the wood is drilled, and then this is driven in under force, which gives us this actual twist all the way through, like so, when it comes through, to give it a friction fix. For this application, the actual mortar bed joints are secure enough to be able to hold it, because when they are perished and used, this is not the best fix to use. Resin, most times, 75% of the time, I would recommend to the exterior leaf, giving it a good secure bond. At that point now, we're going to drill some holes and then install some wall ties. Okay, as you can see, we have the ties, stainless steel, installed here, here, here and here, between the actual areas here, and down the actual window openings at 10-inch centres all the way down. Here we've extended them a lot more to almost 2 feet centres, which you can see how this ties back the panels between the windows, and over larger areas, surface areas, ties the masonry veneer back to the load bearing studs. Basic principle of tying. Back into the hammer action. Let's take the drill bit out and fix in the fixing tool. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take one of the dry fix ties, place her in the end, which is slotted allowed for it, place it to here and drive. With the hole recessed so that we can fill that back in with matching mortar. That's how the first wall tie goes on, and so will the rest around the windows. My name's Alan Pettingale, showing you how to install Graphics wall tie. I'm sure there'll be many more in the series. Okay, so having got the wall tie, it's now time to place them. Most times in being able to place this, because we do have the wooden sheathing going across the studs at a slight horizontal plane raised, it allows us to be able to drill through into the actual wooden sheathing and attach it. But if the studs were there and just in place and no wooden sheathing on the inside was available to tie back to, we'd have to go into the studs, and then that's a whole different story again, locating the studs to get the centre of the studs. But for this application, what we're going to do is first of all start off at the base of the window here. We're going to come in approximately 4 inches from there to the top of the header here. For this application, we're going to start off right here on there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to work up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and do the same here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, bring it back into there, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Short on the top underneath the lintel, but it won't hurt to drop it and put one back there. Now the spacings on those at 5 are approximately 10 inches. 12 inches on that, we can come back and reduce it to 10 inches, sometimes 8, depending on the density that is required to tie this back. Some densities are tighter than others, depending on just how much wall surface we do have to tie back. Normally the rule of thumb is 2.5 ties per metre square.